In 1493, the world was changing faster than humans could track. Columbus had just returned from the Americas. The printing press was barely 40 years old, and the Middle Ages were bleeding into the Renaissance. Amidst this chaos, a group of scholars and artists in Nuremberg, Germany, decided to do something insane. They tried to print everything. This is the Liber Chronicarum, better known as the Nuremburg Chronicle. It is the most heavily illustrated book of the 15th century, an ambitious attempt to catalog human history from the first day of creation to the literal day of judgment. Today, we're looking at how this book defined the information age long before the internet existed. Creating a book this massive required a lot of work, and it included 3 different people. Hartmann Schedel, a physician and humanist who owned one of the largest private libraries in Europe, he compiled a text pulling from every source he could find. Anton Koberger, the godfather of printing, he operated 24 presses and employed over 100 people. He wasn't just a printer, he was a venture capitalist. Michael Wohlgemuth, a master artist who workshop produced the 1,809 woodcuts needed for this book. Here's some detailed art buffs. One of Wohlgemuth's apprentices during this time was a teenager named Albrecht Dürer. While he can't prove which lines he carved, many scholars believe the master's influence is visible in the more complex landscapes and portraits. Schedel organized the book into the 7 ages of the world. The first age, the creation to deluge, Noah's Ark. The second, to the birth of Abraham. Third, to King David. Fourth, to the Babylonian captivity. Fifth, to the birth of Christ. Sixth, the present day, and the longest section. And seventh, the Antichrist and the end of the world. Interestingly, Schedel left several pages completely blank at the end of the 6th age. Why? So readers could record their own history as it happened before the apocalypse arrived. Now let's look at the Nuremberg secret. The book has 1,809 illustrations, but only about 645 unique woodcut blocks were actually carved. How? Easy, they cheated. The woodcut used to represent Damascus was reused for Verona, Mantua, and Naples. The same portrait of a generic quote-unquote king might be labeled as different people throughout the book. To a modern reader, this looks like a mistake, but in 1493, most people had never seen these cities. The image wasn't meant to be a photograph. It was a symbol of a great city or a powerful king. It was the ultimate efficiency hack. Chronicle wasn't just about facts, it was about the wonders of the world. It features a famous page dedicated to the monstrous races, creatures rumored to live at the edges of the earth. We see the Cyapod, a man with 1 giant foot he uses as an umbrella, and the Blemaeus, men with faces in their chests. The maps are equally fascinating. They show a world centered around the Mediterranean with no sign of the Americas. It is a snapshot of the very last moment in history before the European map of the world was blown wide open. The Nuremberg Chronicle was a massive commercial success. About 1,500 copies were printed in Latin and about 1,000 in German. Amazingly, around 400 copies still exist today. It represents the moment humans decided that history shouldn't just belong to monks and monasteries. It should be printed, illustrated, and sold to anyone who wanted to understand their place in the universe. Obviously, it's beautiful, flawed, chaotic, a masterpiece even, that proves we've always been obsessed with the big picture. If you could leave 3 blank pages at the end of a book today for future generations to fill, what would you want them to write? Let me know in the comments.